Namaskar, Siddhartha. Sit down. So, how are you today?
I'm fine, sir.
Very good, very good. So, last time we started with Siddharth, but today I want to start with Prashant Kishore.
Yes.
Now, Prashant Kishore is traveling from village to village in Bihar. He claims that his objective is to create a change in Bihar which can bring economic development to that state. What do you think about his approach and his pronouncements?
Sir, I feel that the Jan Suraj initiative is a very positive initiative. I think Bihar needs it because what he's trying to do is community level awareness, and based on that, he's trying to change the political landscape of Bihar, sir. I think the basic issues that he's highlighting, for example, the jobs crisis or migration from Bihar or the economic conditions, I think these are very tangible issues.
Do you think his approach will have some reflection in the coming Lok Sabha election, or is it too early?
Sir, indeed, he is doing a very hard work. The campaigns are very intensive, but I feel that he will have not much of an impact in the just recent Lok Sabha election, but in the long run, I think he is going to have a big impact.
Now, there is a view about history that our history was written by invaders, and therefore there are many inaccuracies, and we should rewrite the history and bring the correct, position of the historical facts. What is your view? Should we revise the textbooks of history or should we not?
Sir, I feel that a periodic revision of historical text, especially the understanding based on the life of new emerging facts, is very important. And I do agree to some extent that our history has indeed been written by colonizers, where we are always shown as the losing sides. For example, our achievements in terms of history or in terms of the science and technology that we had, so these are neglected, even the philosophical aspect also. So I think, sir, that keeping in mind inclusion, whereby the history writing is more inclusive of various sections, be it North India, South India, Northeast also, and various segments of people also, the tribals, lower people from the so-called lower caste, or women also, so these must be incorporated in history.
Now tell me a few things of India's heritage on which we can be proud of.
Sir, I think India is the nation with the most diverse heritage, be it in terms of spirituality, where our idea of spirituality is basically tolerance, which says that various viewpoints, be it in terms of religion or religious differences, they should be accepted, and they should also thrive. Sir. I think that is something to be proud of. Also, the yoga and the alternative medicine, for example, that we have, be it the Ayurvedic system, sir, which has less of side effects. So these things are also very crucial. Along with that, sir, I think the civilizational heritage that we have in terms of the respect for nature, for example, for the rivers, sir, I think if these things are really inculcated well, it can lead to a betterment of the world. Sir. Also, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is really something.
Okay. Now you studied in Nanak Dev Khalsa school somewhere. So can you tell me 3 principles of Sikhism which are striking?
Yes. So the first will be equality of all of humankind. The second is the service motive, because for Guru Nanak, service was the primary. And the third will be Khalsa, which is again the fighting for the safeguarding of Dharma. That is a very important aspect.
Very good. Thank you.
Siddharth, I'm told that there is a lot of improvement in law and order in Bihar if you compare 25 years back and now. But do you still need a lot of improvements, like policing of Uttar Pradesh?
Sir, I do agree that improvements can be seen, especially in terms of the awareness of the people also for their rights, or in terms of the crime rates that are decreasing. But again, much scope is there for improvement. And regarding the Uttar Pradesh model specifically, sir, I feel that actions can be taken based on the legislative domain. Basically, it must be within the aspects of liberal democracy that we have currently, sir. And some aspect, for example, strict policing of criminals, not allowing them space to encroach upon public lands. I think these can be incorporated because the mafia is also operating in Bihar.
You're reading newspapers?
Yes.
For the last 4-5 days, lot of dignitaries, celebrities are coming in newspapers. In what context?
Sir, the son of Mukesh Ambani, I think Anand Ambani, is getting married, sir. And for that, Rihanna and other foreign celebrities also are in India.
There is one name also, Vantara. Vantara, you read that also?
No, sir, I'm not aware.
Vantara, they are going to Vantara. Vantara is a place and rehabilitation center for animals.
Sir, I'm not aware.
Full page ad is also there. Okay. Rat hole mining. It was in news very recently and even two days back also.
So what actually happened was one of the members of the group that was leading the red hole mining, sir, his house was actually demolished.
Okay, what is red hole mining?
Sir,
And why it became important few months back?
sir, it is a practice that has been banned by the NGT. Basically, it is an economically unsustainable practice where narrow holes are made in the ground to extricate resources. And regarding the Silkyara tunnel, sir, it became very...
All right. How many villages we have in our country?
Sir, I think we have more than 5 lakh villages.
And Gram Panchayats?
Sir, I am not very sure of the exact.
But
It can be roughly around 5 lakh, sir, or less than 5 lakh, some because of you villages are a part of a Gram Panchayat, sir. I am not very sure.
Okay. Which is the longest article in our constitution?
Sorry, sir, that again I am not.
Connected with panchayats, municipalities. What is whether panchayats, municipalities are part of our constitution?
Yes, indeed, after the 73rd and 74th amendment, they have become a part of the constitution, sir.
Okay. Last question. Market capitalization in India. How much it is roughly?
Sir, it is more than $4 trillion. I believe, right?
$4 trillion.
Yes,
$4 trillion.
4 trillion. Sir. And India is the 5th largest stock market in the world.
Thank you.
Siddharth, the wonder that was India, once it was, not so far, not later. Why? Who described it was wonder? What was the wonder? Why India stopped amazing at the historians later?
So this statement was by AIR-118, sir, in his book The Wonder That Was India. But I have not exactly read the whole book, sir. But what I can infer from the nomenclature. And first of all, sir, I believe India is still a wonder, sir. We are a diverse democracy, and if we are able to succeed with our diversity, so it will be a lesson for the whole mankind. But again, there were some things, some aspects of our culture, be it the philosophy or the cultural pride that we used to have in our civilization. These are the things that have become diminished. Even the economic aspect, the heft that we used to have. We are currently about 2% of the world's GDP, sir. But once upon a time, we used to be more than 25%. So these things have lost.
Okay. Chanakya is relevant even today in public administration and public servant. What are the important principles of Chanakya relevant to public administration and administrative service?
So the first thing will be the strictness of the administration, sir, because Chanakya was of the opinion that law and order, for example, or the taxation, they must be very strictly to be followed, sir. That is something that can be incorporated even today, sir. Along with that, I feel that the leading by example aspect was also very crucial, sir, because even after being the chief minister of Chandragupta, sir, he used to live in a hut, Chanakya, sir. So I think that again should be incorporated by the current leaders also, sir. Along with that, sir, I feel the economic reality that he was so in line with of the society that he was living in, sir, that helped him and lead to, for example, data-based analysis of policies. For example, sir, in Bihar we have the AHAR system, which is traced to Chanakya, which has been, even today, it is very successful in irrigation.
In history writing, R.S. Sharma, Bipen Chandra, Romila Thapar, Jaduna Sarkar, K.M. Panikar, which one you like and how are they distinct in their approach to history making, history writing?
Sir, all the names that you took are very prominent personalities, and we have a lot to learn from each of them. But many of them, like the R.S. Sharma or Romila Thapar, they are from the leftist wing of historiography, or Jaduna Sarkar is from the more nationalistic side of historiography, sir. I feel, sir, that a good understanding of history can come only by a holistic understanding of all these writers, sir. So for that, I feel any student of history must be thorough in his approach to studying all these various historians, and then we can come to some conclusions whereby, but again, it should be based on the facts and factual analysis.
Two-nation theory was a dangerous theory and finally made it subjective. Who contributed two-nation theory? Why we couldn't stop two-nation theory to finally divide the country?
So the genesis of the two-nation theory can be traced to Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, when he argued that because Muslims had been a part of the ruling elite, they should have some specific more rights. So because of that, it started, and whereby when he petitioned the Muslim community to be more in the service of the British, sir. So that led to a situation where the British started sort of giving a greater patronage, for example, to the Muslim community, sir. Along with that, in the later period, sir, it also, after especially the partition of Bengal and the Swadeshi movement, sir, there we saw a greater dichotomy with the formation of Muslim League also, sir. And again, which also was a part of...
Okay, I will stop you here. You know very well. Last question. President Putin is rewriting history. History repeats itself. He is trying to revive Russia to the earlier days of USSR and Tsar of Russia and that kind of thing. How far it is true, how far it is not true?
Sir, I agree with the essence of the statement, sir, because there can be vast similarities that can be traced to Putin and Stalin, sir. For example, the aggressiveness for the expansion of Russia, or for the respect, for example, for Russia's past, sir. So or for the sort of hegemony, maintaining the hegemony in Central Asia or the Eastern Europe part of it, sir. I think there is vast similarity. Similarly, the way Stalin was trying to increase the area of domain of the Russian Empire, similarly Putin is also doing currently, sir. But again, sir, some differences can be traced. For example, Stalin's was a system that was communistic, sir. But today's Russia is not communistic, it is more oligopolistic, sir.
Okay, thank you so much.
Siddhartha, I see that you were born in Motihari and your address is West Champaran, okay, and you also studied at HD Jain College, Ara. So you are through and through Bhojpuri.
Yes, sir, I understand.
You are through and through Bhojpuri.
Yeah, I am through the Bhojpur region, for example, but I have not been...
Bhojpuri.
Yes, I speak
Motihari, Champaran, everything is Bhojpuri only, okay. But one thing, rather two things intrigue, okay. The first thing intrigues me is that initially, if you go into the history of Champaran, okay, it was part of the kingdom of Videha. Videha was Janak, Mithilanchal, basically. But how come Bhojpuri became the culture and language of that area? So that's the first question which intrigues me. I'll come to the second question later.
So first of all, I'll start with the nomenclature of Bhojpur, sir, and whereby we get the Bhojpuri terms. The kings and the Rajputs from Ujjain had migrated to the region that we currently, and from the region of Bhoj, basically in Madhya Pradesh, they migrated to the region of Bhojpur that we currently have, Shahabad region, and they named it Bhojpur, sir.
I'm talking about Champaran. I'm not talking about Bhojpur, Ara Jila, Purana Ara Jila.
Yes, sir. Again, sir, I think, sir, the sway of Bhojpuri can be traced to the extension of the Bhumihar kingdom, which we had in the 16th, 17th centuries on.
But you see, and if you see the geography of Bihar and Uttar Pradesh, okay, after the old Ara Jila, okay, there is Ganges River, okay. Then thereafter other like regions are there which are very different. No? Mithila culture is there, but suddenly you find that thereafter Bhojpur, the whole Bhojpur culture, the Gopalganj, Chhapra, and all that comes up. How has that become possible?
Sir, I think I'll have to read more on that. But what I feel is that...
Because that was more part of Ajat-Shatru and all that after Ajat-Shatru next.
Yes.
Okay, so it should have become more either Maghi or Mithila.
Yes.
Why it could be, how did it become Bhojpuri?
Sir, I think I'll have to read more on that.
Okay. And my second question again is, Siddharth, you are very young, so you may not be knowing, but in olden times, not very olden times, in my age, okay, when I was your age, there were a lot of Bhojpuri films, Bhojpuri plays, okay, like Loha Singh, very patriotic, okay, very nationalistic, okay, very literal, very high class. And suddenly we find that the popular Bhojpuri cinema has eroded into something very vulgar. So how do you see this change?
Sir, it is a sad state of affairs because, as you rightly pointed out, for example, we had movies like Nadiya Ke Paar or the plays by Bhikhari Thakur, sir. These were very prominent examples of high value and in the cinematography. But currently, sir, the degradation that we currently see, I feel, sir, it is more to do with the current economic status of Bihar, sir, because the Bhojpuri cinema is mostly catering to the people who are lower in the economic hierarchy, sir.
So you mean to say that people who are lower in the economy, okay, they derive pleasure in such like things which are not like the things which we should?
So not exactly, but the harsh reality is that people who are economically in the backward sections, they are not sophisticated enough because of the lack of human development to understand ideas like feminism or ideas like even patriotism and these sort of value-based things. So because the Bhojpuri industry is catering to that population, it is leading to the deterioration, sir. But again, sir, I feel a major focus and major blame, sir, indeed lies on the actors and the producers who are making these sort of things.
Do you mean to say that during the period of Rameshwar Singh and Mithilesh Singh, etc., okay, Bihar was less poor than today?
No, sir. Indeed, it was not.
Then why it was so popular during those days? Okay, and now all these things have vanished almost completely, and another form has completely taken over.
Yes, sir. Again, sir, I would say the massification of the cinema, sir. Because earlier cinema used to be watched by the elite section of society, sir. So again, sir, today that we have the massification of cinema, masses are going to the cinema, sir. And because the masses are more deprived in terms of even, for example, the value-based education also is not there, sir. So I think
I agree to that, okay, because you see there was one film, Jai Santoshi Ma, okay, and people from villages, not the remotest corner of villages in Bihar and UP, they go and watch, they drove bullock carts 50 kilometers, 100 kilometers to watch that movie. So I wouldn't agree to that. So what could be the real cause, in your view? Because you are a youngster, no? You are the future in your hands.
sir, indeed, I agree. With that can also be a facet of the opinion that you gave, sir. First of all, sir, I think I'll need to definitely read more on that. But again, sir, if I need to point out another reason, I can think, sir, that the problem of vulgarity, for example, is not specific to Bihar itself, sir. In many cultures, even not just the regional, even the pan-India level also, vulgarity is also there, sir. So these things are propagating continuously at various spheres, along with the fact that the propagation of digital arena, fast pace, that is also contributing to that sort of decline, sir. But again, I'll read more on this, sir.
Thank you, Siddharth.
Siddharth, good evening. So let me ask you quick questions on history before going to other topics. Which of the current historians inspires you the most?
Sir, as of today, there is no specific historian that inspires me the most. I think I'll reiterate again that we need to be aware of the various understandings of history and we should be giving due credit to all the historians, sir.
Okay. Can you name some historians who are coming up with a different perspectives to rethink about their history?
Yes, sir. For example, we have Vikram Sampath, who is trying to give a more nationalistic reinterpretation of history, sir. Or even in the subaltern space, we have writers like Ranjit Guha, for example, sir, or even Ramchandra Guha also. So I think these are the current breed of historians. So currently what we are seeing is a clash that is occurring in the academic domain between the left wing and the rightist wing of history academia, sir.
Okay. Is Arthashastra of Chanakya first one, or is there any earlier Arthashastras or other Shastras?
So while there are indeed other Shastras, for example the Natya Shastra, but regarding the Artha Shastra nomenclature, as far as my limited understanding, I think it is related to Chanakya, sir.
Fine, look into it, because Chanakya's Arthashastra itself mentions a lot of Arthashastras before.
I'll definitely read about it.
Okay, fine. And the third question, last question about history. Did Ashoka take Buddhism after the war or before the Kalinga war?
So going by the recent understanding that has emerged, Ashoka must have been a Buddhist before the Kalinga war, sir. At least he was a Upasak, as he rightly mentions in the Kalinga edict also, sir. But again, I think a greater degree of focus on Dhamma, it started after the Kalinga war because it aligned with his political ideas, especially the idea for hegemony over the state.
Okay, so let me ask you next question with respect to economy. Is Make in India program or the manufacturing sector of India too much betting on domestic demand?
Sir, indeed, democracy and the demographic dividend is one of the biggest potentials that we have, sir. But again, I do agree that currently, because the domestic demand is sort of stilted, it is not really growing up to the extent that is desired. In that context, a focus on the export orientation is also required, sir. But again, it is not as if the Make in India is not focusing on export, but we are indeed facing vast competition from nations like Vietnam and such, sir. So
At the same time, global slowdown.
yes, the global slowdown is also there. The war in Ukraine or the Gaza conflict also, sir. The Red Sea crisis, also these things are contributed to a decline, sir.
Okay, and one last question. With respect to civil services reforms, so there has been coming up with Mission Karma Yogi for capacity building and other things. There is also talks about Niti Path, concept of Niti Path, similar to Agnipath. Is it good or what exactly it is?
Sir, I have not read specifically about Niti Path, but if you say that it is similar to Agnipath, then it can be regarding some sort of contract-based service for some limited years, sir. So in that context, I feel that that is an avenue that can be looked into, because what is a problem that we are facing in the bureaucracy is the lethargy, for example, because of the lack of accountability. So I think, sir, a rigorous reintroduction of some new ideas can lead to a greater accountability and transparent administration, sir. So I think that is something we can look into. Along with that, I think the capacity building, the Mission Karma Yogi, sir, again, it is a very positive step, and we do need some changes in the current administrative setup, sir.
So it helps us to reduce too much dependence on one exam for recruitment. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes, thank you, sir.
All the best. All the best.